Doctors spend their lives healing other people. But what happens when physicians become patients? Who do they trust with their own health and their own lives? And what if the only doctor who can save you is you? Dylan shines our Sunday spotlight on a young doctor who's now specializing in saving his own life.
Dr. David Fajgenbaum is in the fight of his life.
There were 3 flares over the first 6 months.
To find a cure for an extremely rare disease.
Castleman's is almost like a mix between an autoimmune disease and a cancer. It's just relentless in what it can do.
He is fighting to save the most important patient in his life, himself.
I said goodbye to my family and friends in November of 2010. I had my last rites read to me, all because my immune system was attacking my organs.
The 32-year-old doctor at the University of Pennsylvania was always the picture of health. A former quarterback at Georgetown University, David had never faced any serious medical issues. That all changed in July 2010.
I went from being this healthy third-year medical student to being hospitalized in the intensive care unit with every organ failing. My liver, my kidneys, my bone marrow, completely shut down. Gained 70 pounds of fluid due to liver and kidney failure, and didn't think that I was going to survive.
Intensive chemotherapy brought David back, but 2 relapses followed.
Did the doctors know at first that it was Castleman's disease?
No, it took about 11 weeks to diagnose me.
With very little known about this rare disease, David took his treatment into his own hands.
What I learned very quickly is that though I now had a name for that thing that was trying to kill me, the medical community had such a poor understanding for how the disease worked.
His research led him to Dr. Fritz Van Ree at the University of Arkansas of Medical Sciences.
So David started here as a patient. He became very interested in the research.
Together, the 2 men started building a network, looking for solutions, racing against time.
And when you have a deadly disease, you don't really want to wait for the stars to align. We prioritize all of the possible studies that could be done. We go and recruit the best person in the world to do those studies.
Despite the research, David continued to relapse.
I turned to my sisters and my wife, and I told them, I said, I'm going to dedicate the rest of my life, however long that might be, to trying to cure this disease. Got blood work done this morning, so
blood work's good?
Blood work's good. But of course, it's like kind of always looming, right?
Yeah.
All right, go ahead.
With a disease that could come back at any moment, David became his own test subject.
And I started conducting laboratory research on my samples, going through all of my medical data. I thought that a drug that had never been used for Castleman's before, called sirolimus, might work. And I decided to try it on myself.
It was a major breakthrough. He's now been in remission for 4 years. David says his perseverance was inspired in part by his mother's own battle with cancer.
My mom was amazing in not just finding silver linings in problems, but actually creating silver linings, to take a terrible experience and to create something positive out of it. And she instilled that in me.
Anne-Marie Fajgenbaum lost her battle with brain cancer. David's battle continues.
This drug that I'm on that's saving my life, we've now tried it in a few other patients. It's helping them. So we're fighting with everything we have.
Dylan, you look at some of those old pictures of him and how good he looks now. Is he totally healthy now? Is he okay?
Well, it has been 4 years since his last relapse, so he had 5 relapses total. But the good news now is that he has enough data to take this to clinical trial. And for everyone who's dealing with Castleman's, I mean, if this is the road to the cure that everybody's been looking for, I mean, he's the reason why.
Well, that's the extraordinary part about it. It wasn't just curing himself. This is going to help a lot of other people who come after him.
A disease that really nobody knows that much about.
Wow, very cool. Dylan, thanks so much. Great story.
Hello, Today fans. Thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Subscribe by clicking that button down there and click on any of the videos over here to watch the latest interviews, show highlights, and digital exclusives.